iPhone SE versus iPhone 7 Plus. That's coming up right now. Let's go. So, what is up, guys? Nick here from Everything Tech, helping you master your technology, and welcome to iPhone SE versus iPhone 7 Plus. Now, I know I have a bunch of other phones like the Galaxy S7, but I want to begin with the SE because I think this is quite an interesting comparison here to start with. Now, I will be putting my iPhone 7 Plus in a case for this video because that camera bump on the back does stick out quite a bit, and I don't want to scratch the lens on that baby on this hardwood table. So, I'm going to put this guy in the case. Just wanted to let you guys know that. Let's flip the SE around here, and let's talk a little bit about them before we go ahead and do our speed test, our boot up test, and stuff like that. Actually, we can go ahead and boot them up while we're talking. So let's boot these guys up at the same time in 3, 2, 1. So the Apple logo shows first on the iPhone SE, and let's talk just a bit. So the Apple iPhone SE has an Apple A9 CPU, and the Apple iPhone 7 Plus has an A10 CPU. So if we draw this out to make this easy for you to understand, the A9 here, and then let's just put the A10 up here. So the A9 has 2 cores. So it has 2 cores here, 2 high efficient cores. It's a dual core processor. Now the A10 over here, and I didn't even check which one booted up first. Let me know down below in the comments. I think it was the iPhone 7 Plus, but I wasn't actually paying attention. So let me go ahead and put the battery off low power mode here to make this fair. Let's go to display here, put the auto lock on 5 minutes, as well as over here. Let's go ahead and put the auto lock on 5 minutes just so these screens don't shut off while we're talking here. Both on 5 minutes, so they should stay on there. So yeah, like I was saying, over here we have the A9, which is a dual core CPU, and this is just to make this easy for you to understand. The A10 is a 4-core CPU, so it's got 4 cores, and 4 is always better than 2, or is it? So what this is the A10 has 2 high efficient cores. So it has high efficient cores, which are not activated at all times, and then it has low efficient cores. So lower efficient cores, so more, how would you say this? Just they're going to come into play with daily tasks. So for the most part, when you're not doing anything highly efficient or highly, how would you say, just heavy tasking, the iPhone 7 Plus is going to run in a dual core capacity. So essentially it's going to run exactly the same as the A9 CPU most of the time. So when you're not gaming or nothing like that, then the iPhone 7 Plus is going to run just like an A9 CPU. Now, in terms of a graph, like if you guys can read this on a graph, so here's the A9, here's the A9, and here's the A10 in terms of on a spec sheet. So the A9 is right here and the A10 is right here. So the A10 has about a 40% increase in speed according to a spec sheet, and a 50% increase in GPU, so the graphics processing unit. So basically, in terms of gaming, you're getting a 50% increase, and we're going to do a separate gaming test on the iPhone SE versus the iPhone 7 Plus in a future video. So let's get that demonstration out of there, and let's go into both phones here. Now, I did line up both applications, and I do want to say that the iPhone 7 Plus has 3 gigabytes of RAM, and the iPhone SE has 2 gigabytes of RAM. Now, that doesn't really make huge difference because we're talking about a 1080p display here and a 5.5-inch panel here for the iPhone 7 Plus, as well as that P3 wide color gamut. So if you're looking closely here on the display, you can tell that the iPhone 7 Plus has a much more color-rich, higher contrast ratio display. Now, it's not so big that it's going to make a huge difference in day-to-day use, but if you pick up an iPhone SE and then you go buy a 7 Plus, or if you buy even a 6S Plus, you're going to see the difference in the sharpness of the text here on the iPhone 7 Plus. Now, I do want to say 1080p is still good, but if you ever looked at a 2K display, such as what Samsung's doing, you can definitely see some jagged edges on the text in comparison to a AMOLED display. It's night and day difference in terms of the sharpness of a 2K display and a 1080p display. And I find myself reading on my Galaxy S7 much more than I'm reading on my iPhone 7 Plus here. So let me go ahead and close everything out here, and let's see what happens on the app test. So you're gonna see here how close these really are in terms of them running in the lower efficient cores like I mentioned earlier. So let's go into calendar on both. And you can see calendar was about the same, like I say. So this is why you're going to see about the same speed, is because they're both running at dual core right now. Let's go into weather. And you can see the 7 Plus slightly ahead there. Let's go home. Let's go into clock. And you can see iPhone SE, it looked like there. Let's come home. Let's go into settings. About the same. Let's go home here. Let's go into App Store. You can see 7 Plus ahead there. Let's come home here. Let's go into calculator on both devices. You can see the SE beat it there. Let's come home. Let's go into Safari. And you can see I was reading what's the most heavy smartphone task you can do on a smartphone. Let's go to yahoohere.com to do a testing, an internet test here. And let's hit go. You can see about dead even there. Both are rockets to the, both are rockets in Safari. And this is one of my most enjoyable features of iPhone in general, is I think Safari is highly optimized. And I haven't seen any internet browsers besides maybe the Google phones, like the Google Pixel, that can really match Safari. So let's go here and go. And you can see the SE won there. So the SE is going to take some tests here, like I say, because they're both running at dual core, and the SE is not pushing as many pixels. So let's go over here. And let's go into youtube.com here on the browsers. Let's hit go. And iPhone 7 Plus there. So iPhone 7 Plus, I would say, won the browser test overall. And the iPhone 7 Plus features that capacitive touch key down here, which is basically not a home button. It mimics a home button. It has a taptic engine under the device. So the iPhone SE just has a clicking mechanism. And there's a 3.5mm headset jack here, which was removed on the 7, so you can do this taptic engine thing. And some people might not like it. I personally don't like it too much, but I will get used to it. And let's go into eBay. But with that being said, with the taptic engine, that was not fair. Let's come out. I seen that one. Let's go home. I know that wasn't fair. I just repeated myself. I know that. Whoa. Let's go into eBay. And you can see the iPhone 7 Plus looked ahead there. Let's come home. Let's go into Amazon. And looks like the 7 Plus there. Let's come home. So the 7 Plus is still, even though they're both running in that dual core, it's still maybe a hair quicker, just a hair. It's very, very minor. Let's go into Best Buy. And you can see, look like the 7 Plus took that one as well until it started asking me all these darn questions. Let's go into Instagram here. And you can go ahead and follow me here on Instagram, _Nick_Ackerman. I post all kinds of things on the channel, but that test looked about the same. They both went into Instagram about the same. I did ask the question on Instagram earlier, which would you choose, the iPhone 7 Plus or the Galaxy S7 Edge? So you guys can go ahead and hit me up over there. I'll get back to you quicker on Instagram than the YouTubes. So you can go ahead and check me out. Link is down below in the description area of this video. Twitter. And you can see, boom, that was dead even. So this click mechanism does make the iPhone go home just a little bit quicker, just because it's a capacitive touch, and it's not a physical press. So it does take a little bit longer to physical press. So watch this. Well, that was about the same. But you can see the 7 Plus, for the most part, is quite a bit ahead. One thing I don't like about this capacitive touch button though is that you can click it from anywhere on the SE, and you know that you're gonna get, so for example, if you're gonna go like a little bit on the edge, you're still gonna hit the button because it's a physical press. With this, you kind of sometimes you gotta get your whole finger on there. So if I go to calculator here, let me show you for example. If I go right here, you can see nothing's happening. You gotta literally get your whole thumb on there. So that's kind of annoying, because with this, if you got nails or something, like ladies, you got those long nails, you can just, boom, you know what I'm talking about. You can just go like that. If you just got a little inch of your thumb on there, who knows, maybe you're sleeping at night and you're picking up your phone at 2 o'clock in the morning, and you just want to press it like that because you're not paying attention, it'll still go home. But with this guy, you got to make sure that pretty much your thumb is covering most of it on the 7 Plus or the 7. So that's kind of a little bit of annoyance there. Airbnb was about the same on that app test. Let's go to Spotify. And, oh, 7 Plus out with the win once again. Let's come home here. Let's go into YouTube. And this is a 128 gigabyte model. This is a 16 gig. That doesn't really matter except for when you're just writing and storing photos to file folders on your PC or Mac. Let's go into library. And you can see my videos. That looked dead even. Honestly, that looked totally dead even there. Let's come home. Let's go into Geekbench on both. And let's run a Geekbench here on the SE. And I will pause the video and I will be back once the score is done on the SE as well as the 7 Plus here. So we're going to run both on here. But by the way, before I pause the video, the SE is clocked in at 1.85 gigahertz and this is clocked in at 2.34 gigahertz. So basically what that means is that it's just a higher clock speed, meaning the processor is clocked higher for more performance. That's the best way I can put it. And it's showing a little bit here. So I'm going to pause that and show you the scores when they are both done. Alright guys, so they're just about done here. The 7 Plus is going to finish here in just a second on the Geekbench. And I expect the 7 Plus to crush it in these scores, and it does. 3456 in a single core and 5774 in the multi-core. These are extremely impressive scores here for the Apple A10 here. And we're talking 2489 on the benchmark here for single core on the SE and 4200. So absolutely destroys the SE and Geekbench. However, it's not really destroying it in everyday use as you're seeing right here. That's just due to the nature of iOS being so well optimized and so efficient. And I know some people can, that's not really an objective or a subjective opinion. Like, that's pretty much fact now. Apple iOS is very optimized. I think most people would agree. All right, guys, so let's go into speed test here. So the iPhone 7 Plus looks to load that one first. Let's begin the test here on the iPhone SE. And if you remember correctly, I did do iPhone 7 versus iPhone SE a while back here. And I will leave that link down below in the comment section or in the description area of this video. And the iPhone 7 was pretty close. The SE was pretty close to it. But for some reason, the 7 Plus is doing a better job against the SE. And I would say absolutely it is beating it. Not by a lot, but it is beating it. But is it beating it by, let's say, $500 or so? Now that's a question that I'm gonna leave up to you guys the answer. Is it beating it by $500 or so? Because I could tell you one thing, I could get about 3 iPhone SEs for one 7 Plus new. So not new in the store, but like on the second rate, like on eBay or something, you could get like 3 SEs for one new iPhone 7 Plus. Basically an SE for your whole family. Let's go over here on the SE, and we got 14.89 or 91 on the download, and we got 10.80 on the upload. So that's for the iPhone SE right there. And over here on the iPhone 7 Plus, 89.68 on the download. And let's see what happens on the upload. So I don't know what happened there with the SE pulling in crappy Wi-Fi speeds there for this test. But let's see what happens on the upload here for the iPhone 7 Plus. Same Wi-Fi network as well. As you can see, 12.34 on the upload for the iPhone 7 Plus. And the iPhone 7 Plus does have actually faster Wi-Fi and LTE speeds than pretty much any other phone on the market here. So yeah, that's pretty much the speed test. Let's do a multitasking test now. So you can see both multitask extremely well. I think the 7 Plus with its A10, it looks a little bit faster when you just do this hopping into the apps. It's so quick, like the apps kind of like twitch, it's so fast. So let's go into YouTube, and you can see right here. If you look closely, like it does like this little twitch, it's so quick. It's pretty nice to see. Let's go into Spotify, and you can see. So multitasking is about the same on both. Not any differences here. And in terms of hopping in and out of apps, neither one of these are going to have to reload apps. You have a blazing fast device on either device here. In terms of the control center, I just missed that on the iPhone 7 Plus. It didn't lag. You can go down here and go up over here, and you can go like this, speeding right through on both like nothing, like nobody's business, just really fast here. So I'm pretty much done talking about the speed here. I just want to talk about the SE advantages and the 7 Plus advantages, and we're going to wrap up this iPhone SE versus 7 Plus video, and hopefully this helped you decide which phone you're going to pick up between these two. So the SE has the advantage of a few things. Size. Now, we're going to say size for the 7 Plus too, but it has the advantage of size for people with small hands. Now, if you don't have huge hands like me, you see, look at it, look at these. Jeez, these are ball pairs right here. Did I say ball pairs? These are bare paws here. But you can see size here. 4-inch screen. Yeah, it's small, but if you have small hands, this screen starts to not feel too small after all. And yeah, it could be a little bit annoying sometimes if you want to watch videos and stuff. It's not the most immersive experience like a 7 Plus or such, but it's so portable. So if you're a person constantly on the go all the time, outside, you got an Apple Watch, you don't really use your phone for video watching, you just want a quick reply to text, you want to make calls. This thing is just a portable little beast monster right here in the iPhone SE. Another advantage is price. This is probably the highest value, and this is why I love the iPhone SE. I think it's just a great value smartphone. You get the power of pretty much the 7 Plus, the 6S Plus, and it's in such a pretty affordable package here for most people. And if you go used route, you can get these guys under $300 now. So pretty much everyone has a decent chance of getting into the iOS operating system on a modern smartphone such as the SE. Don't be fooled. Just because the casing looks like the 5S and the 5, this is not a 5 or a 5S in no way, shape, or form besides the way it looks on the outside. So ergonomics too, I think, is a positive of the SE. It's very easy to reach across all the corners on the SE. And I find it to be, it can feel snappier because of the reach on the iPhone 7 Plus. It takes a second to reach that calendar. You see, I gotta kind of jiggle my hand, do some hand gymnastics. So I gotta do some hand gymnastics over here and jiggle my hand up to get there. Whereas with the SE, if I said, let's open up calendar, I'm already gonna be in calendar because I don't have to jiggle my hand around. I'm in there. But over here, if I'm holding the phone like this, I gotta come up here. So by the time I have to come up here, the person with the SE is already in the calendar because they don't gotta reach all the way across the screen. Now, another advantage of the SE is gonna be that 3.5mm headset jack. Now this is totally subjective, obviously, but I think most people would agree that having two options might be better than one. I know going to simplicity is cool, but I think that having the option to have Bluetooth headphones, Lightning headphones, as well as 3.5mm headset jack is better than having Bluetooth and some little dongle that goes on the end of the iPhone 7 Plus. And this thing, I don't like this thing at all. It's annoying. It just feels undone. Like, you have this beautiful iPhone 7 Plus, and then you have this little thing freaking hanging from it. It's just not cute. So let's go over there. And that's pretty much the advantages of the SE. So what are the 7 Plus advantages? The size. So just like the size is portability, the size of the iPhone 7 Plus is an advantage because it has a beautiful large screen. You can watch movies in crispy HD. It's really great for people who are running a business on their smartphone. So if you're a creative person, you do any kind of self-employment work, or even if you work for a company that requires you to use your phone a lot, such as GPS, you're an Uber driver, you're a Lyft driver, you do any of these things that requires you to use your phone a lot, the 7 Plus is the way to go. Water resistance also. If you're outdoors a lot and you drop your phone a lot, you're pretty reckless. This is IP67 certified, so this cannot be submersed in water. It's dangerous to do that on the 7 Plus, but this can be splashed. This can get pretty wet here, and it'll still be pretty good. The screen. So the screen is that P3 display. It's that cinema grade display here on the iPhone 7 Plus, and it is a stunner. And also one advantage also of the iPhone 7 Plus is the landscape mode. This mode makes this feel like a little iPad. So if you wanted an iPad, get the 7 Plus. You won't even need an iPad. It's pretty much the same thing with that landscape mode right there. So going over here, if I put on rotation lock, you can see that we also have the reachability mode. And that does not make up for the size though. It's still easier to reach the iPhone SE even with Apple's included reachability mode, which is quite useful though. And another advantage of the iPhone 7 Plus is the front firing speakers and also the cameras. So the camera on the front and the rear are not amazing. They're not incredibly better than the SE. Don't get me wrong, they are better, but I don't think they're so far better that you would choose the iPhone 7 Plus just for its camera. Now, if you are a photographer, then absolutely the iPhone 7 Plus I would tell you to choose over the SE. But if you're just an everyday consumer, just taking pictures here and there, the 7 Plus's camera is not $400 better than the SE. $100 better? Yes. $400 better? No. And that's pretty much the advantages. So you gotta weigh the pros and cons between these two. If it was my money, I'm going with the iPhone 7 or 7 Plus just because I like to be on the innovative side. If it's for a value proposition, you just need a phone, and just saying you just need a phone and you wanted a good price phone, the SE is going to surprise you in that it gives you more than what you expect for the money here. So if you're that person, go ahead and pick up the SE. If you got small hands, forget about the 7 Plus, go with the 7. And that is pretty much my assessment of the iPhone SE versus the iPhone 7 Plus. I know this video is a little bit longer, but I wanted to get more in depth in this one. If you guys enjoyed this video, do me a favor, click the like button for me down below. It does help the channel out a lot. Share this video with a friend and comment which phone you would go with down below in the comment section of this video. This was Nick here helping to master your technology. I will catch you all in the next one. Be sure to be well and peace.